Hey guys, Phil Jew here. We're doing another iRacing sim racing video. This is my first time ever participating in an endurance race, and I did this with my buddies Rich and Nathan from Revalved. After our second time at Sim Racing Chicago, we decided to hop on this endurance race just to see how we'll do. All right, let's get to it. Alright, so this is the GT3 series. We were driving the Ferrari 296, and there are other cars in this series as well, like the Lamborghini Huracan, the Porsche 992, and we also saw BMW M4 GT3s. It was a good mix of cars, and we had an absolute blast. So what's happening on the screen right now, Rich is our starting driver, so he's going to be doing our qualifying runs, and my god, he is a fast driver. He was the fastest on our three-person team, and he put in a 207.5, I believe, and it was a pretty phenomenal lap and placed us in P3, so we were pretty stoked. He knew he had more in it, but he put in a solid lap, and starting P3 out of 60, we'll take that any day. So we're gonna finish his lap, or whatever is left of it, and we'll get to the race. Alright, so starting the race off, we are in P3, so we are going to be on the inside line in the second row, and Rich is going to put a phenomenal stint down. These stints lasted about 26-27 laps each, and then the last stint was a little shorter because we just were able to fuel save, well, not fuel save, but kind of get extra laps, just kind of like trailing behind some cars. So throughout this first stint, Rich is just putting a phenomenal drive. He's sticking with P1 and P2, the Porsche and the BMW, and making no mistakes, nothing major. He picked up a few incident points going off track, but nothing too major. And then we did have one incident with a car coming out of the pits later in his stint. There was some confusion with what he was doing. Not Rich, but the guy coming out of the pits. He went out too far, outbroke himself, and shimmied left, shimmied right. So Rich decided to go left. And luckily enough, when he was making his pass on the left-hand side, they just did a bit of a door bang, and the car was unscathed, no damage. So we'll watch the rest of Rich's stint, and we'll get to when I get in the car. A whole stint later, Rich has kept the car in one piece with a phenomenal pace. He's still behind this BMW. We're still in P3, I believe, or P4. But it's a long race, and we're heading into the pits for our first driver change. Alright guys, I hopped into the car, I'm waiting for the pit stop to finish, and I'm ready to go. The BMW gets off and leaves the pit before us, and so does the Porsche. We were a bit confused by this at first, but we had found out later that he had not done a driver change. It was a two-person team, so it's slightly faster pit stop, and I gave him the room so we wouldn't have a collision coming out of the pits. Now, coming out of the pits, I was just trying my best to not cause any damage to the car, cause any collisions, go off course, etc. And then all I really needed to do was get into the flow, get into the rhythm, and I did not do that. I had an atrocious outlap and a following lap after that. But after that, I got into the rhythm, got into my flow, and we started driving. So my main goal for my whole stint was to limit time loss from P1 and P2. I know they're faster drivers than I was. We could just tell from the data that we're looking at. But you never know what can happen in these long races. So I minimized our time loss, was keeping within a second to 2 seconds of their laps. Albeit sometimes inconsistently, but once I got back into that flow, we were just slowly losing pace off them, but no trouble, long race. Now skipping a few laps ahead, this is probably the riskiest move I had made the entire race. Now, I probably shouldn't have put my nose in there, but this guy was very, very aware, and I thank him for letting me go and giving me the space. Alrighty, now this is the end of my stint. This is the last lap. We're pitting in at the end of this lap, and I kept the car out of trouble. I managed traffic pretty well. Also, thank you to Rich and Nathan for helping me a little bit because I'm on a single monitor. But didn't have that many incident points either. I had about 4 in total. and that's just from going off track slightly and not gaining too much of an advantage. So we're going to hand the baton to Nathan to finish off this 3-hour race, and I believe he's going to have 25 laps left. Also, you could see at the at my pit entrance there, I was going in way too hot. I almost binned the car, and this was going to be the final mistake I made for this race. So Nathan puts a phenomenal last stint to the end of our race. We had some fortunate news on our end. P1, who was 60 seconds ahead of us, randomly went into the pits and stayed there for 3 laps. We were quite confused about this. We didn't know if he had a penalty, incident points, or just had to go to the bathroom because he was driving himself. We're thinking it's the latter, because at the end the result was no penalty points, nothing like that. So I guess the guy had to go to the bathroom. But besides that, the person in P2 who inherited P1 was also losing a lot of pace for some reason. Albeit some of it was traffic, but also he couldn't get into the flow of driving. So we told Nathan to push. We had enough incident points before we got a penalty that he could make, a few mistakes, go off track a little bit. However, we never got there. So by lap 2 to the end, we just said, hey, just bring it home. And Nathan did just that. He put in a fantastic stint. He was chasing down P1, and we ended up 2nd place. What a phenomenal race that I participated in. I want to say thank you to Rich and Nathan for, letting me join the team. It was so fun. I know it was just 3 hours, but, doing an hour stint may be regular to some iRacers and whatnot, but this is my first winter that I've been actually putting in some work into iRacing, and I'm hoping it transfers to real life. But debut, P2, I can't be more ecstatic. So thanks for watching. I'll see you guys soon, and we'll do some in real life racing time attack soon. Peace.